everything is around us is facing this thing called censorship. So what is censorship? Basically, it's restrictions or filters, if you will, that are set forth to restrict content or restrict who has access to that content. Like when I was growing up, I remember Mortal Kombat just hit the scene. I'm gonna show my age a little bit. So around 96-ish, maybe actually earlier than that, probably. Mortal Kombat came out with their first game, the first Mortal Kombat, and it was a big issue because this is like the most like goriest game that we had ever seen. At least I had ever seen. I mean, they got these things called fatalities, and they're ripping people's faces off and arms, and they're uppercutting them into these spikes. And, you know, it was a big deal. And, you know, there was a lot of issues, a lot of stinks that were made about it where people were saying, oh, this is going to ruin our kids. Finish him. Oopsie. And it caused a big issue. A lot of people were saying they were really concerned about how this was going to affect kids and it's going to ruin kids and it's horrible and stuff like that. And then that's when you started, and I'm not going to say it was because Mortal Kombat, but that's when around that time is when you started seeing this whole game rating system, you know, to where it's like E for everyone, M for mature. And so then you couldn't buy a Mortal Kombat game unless you was a certain age. You know, a similar thing happened with NWA. Back in the day. And I know y'all seen, or a lot of y'all have probably seen the Straight Outta Compton movie. Really good movie. Really good movie. I was so late watching it. That's beside the point. But you've seen what they were struggling with their song F the Police. Caused a lot of issues. They were saying that this is causing people to, you know, encourage people to be violent and, you know, potentially kill police officers, and it led to them actually going through similar things that Mortal Kombat went through, to where then they started making it illegal for places like Walmart and places like that are selling music. They made it illegal for them to sell it to minors. And they said, well, you have to be a certain age to listen to this. So that was censorship. And then also on the radio, you know, tons of different, you know, rules and regulations on censorship, you know, and there's, so basically, censorship is an order that allows songs to be played wherever possible. And it's common to censor particular words, particularly profanities. But the censorship may stem from several like motivating factors such as morale, insensitivity to like recent like tragedies, tragic events, political reasons, military, religious, and even like legal and copyright issues. So like we know in hip hop, for an example, hip hop was founded on sampling. Mac Miller a few years back got sued for using an instrumental, a straight up someone else's instrumental in his mixtape. And he wasn't selling the mixtape, because mixtapes, that's why people come out with mixtapes a lot of times, is because they don't have to pay for clearances for stuff that's using copywritten material. But the mixtape got so popular, they were trying to come up with the argument that, yeah, even though he wasn't selling the mixtape, it was still leading for him to make profit off of the mixtape from, you know, merchandise or, you know, doing shows or his next album or whatever. So there's that as well. And of course, you know, when it comes to censorship, you know, there's several different techniques that people censor things, you know, such as, you know, bleeps or cutting out audio or reversing the audio or slowing down the pitch and things of that nature, and scratching or, you know, just those type of things. So this is something that's come up. It's like, okay, what's the rule book? You know, because this is like this is so not like black and white. You know what I'm saying? It's so not the whole time. Like, okay, like for NWA, for an example, there's someone who was pushing the boundaries of what was socially acceptable. And it caused a lot of issues. You know what I'm saying? It caused a lot of people to talk about them. These are people coming out of areas where they were being violated by the police. We know that happens. It's not every police officer, but it is an issue. No doubt. It's an issue. And it's something they were seeing, and they portray it in Straight Outta Compton, so you can kind of see where they're coming from. Because I believe people are going to talk about what they're experiencing in life. They're going to come from their own personal perspective, and it may be from some place completely different than you, that you may not be familiar with it. And that's what's good about it, is that you can gain experience or more, expand your worldview a little bit, get out of your own world for a moment and kind of let someone else bring you into their world and be your chauffeur and show you around what they're going through and their issues or things of that nature. Another one is like Lupe Fiasco, for an example. Lupe Fiasco in 2013 was forced off stage at an event for that Obama was having because he was performing like an anti-Obama song, which I'm kind of surprised they even invited him to it, because I mean this was already a fairly popular song at the time. And I mean, he had a lot of things that he wanted to get off his chest and stuff that was on his heart that he wanted to say. So that's an example of, political or government type of influences trying to censor people by kicking them off stage. I'll give y'all a recent one. 50 Cent reportedly was arrested last night, June the 25th, at a concert in the Caribbean islands of, I think it's St. Kitts. I could be butchering that name. Kites, for using profanity on stage, which is a violation of their national law. It says the rapper was booked for saying the word mother effer in front of 40,000 people during his hit song PIMP. 50 Cent's DJ reportedly didn't have a clean version of the 2003 single, and the rapper refrained from pulling away the microphone when using the cuss word. After the performance, officials took the rapper to the police station and booked him for using profanity in public. And he's set to have to face some type of court hearing on Monday. So that just happened with 50 Cent. So this is, and DMX too, in the same area in 2003. DMX was arrested for using profanity during a concert in the same place that 50 Cent was in yesterday or last night. The same situation. So it's definitely, censorship is definitely an issue. It's definitely something that's important to talk about, because us as rappers, okay, when you're in your house or wherever you are, wherever you're working on your music, it's just you and your song, you and the instrumental, or, if you're writing to a beat. And a lot of us don't even, we're not even thinking about all that stuff. We're just trying to express how we feel. You know what I'm saying? But once it gets out in public domain, then things really get complicated, because let's say you submit your song to a radio station, and that radio station is ran by people who have very conservative views or something like that, and your music is very liberal in what you're talking about, and they're like, okay, we think you're a really good artist, but we're afraid to play this for our listeners, and we don't think it fits our brand, and then you'll have other people who will embrace it and love it and praise what you're doing, and so that's just something to kind of keep in mind. Like you 50 Cent arrested allegedly last night for performing a song. But over there, it's illegal to use profanity, apparently, in public. Every place in the world is different. There's all these different cultures all around the world. I'm not sure if it's China or Japan, but it's illegal to have like tattoos. Like you can't walk around showing your tattoos in public. That's considered offensive, and it's not accepted. Also, in places like China, there's censorship of like YouTube. Like I was speaking with someone from Taiwan, and he was telling me that in China, they don't have any YouTube. They're not, they've completely blocked it. I'm a documentary nut. I love documentaries and stuff. I was watching a documentary, and it was showing like other parts of the world, just how culture is. And there's other cultures overseas where like they'll receive like American publications, like magazines and stuff, and before it's released to their public, they go through and they rip out pages of stuff they don't want their people to see. the main point here is censorship is not something that's just in rap music. It's all around us all the time. As I just kind of wrap this up, I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. I want to end with this quote right here. This is so true. To avoid criticism, say nothing, do nothing, be nothing. So with that being said, I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. What do you guys think about censorship? Does it affect you as a rapper? Is it something that you take in consideration when you're writing your rap lyrics?